Your name?
My name is Austin Peterson.
And what are you?
I'm a farmer from Hartley, Iowa.
How long have you been doing this?
Since birth mainly, but by myself for almost a year now.
Almost a year. So what does your farming entail?
I raise 2,400 head of pigs, 1,500 head of cattle, and 50 cow and calf families, as well as farm on the side with my father.
Is it just your father that farms?
My father and his father run the crop operation.
So this is a family thing?
The crop part is the family thing, yes.
So
the livestock is my individual thing.
So how long have you personally, how long has your family been doing this thing?
Oh, it was ever since my great-grandfather immigrated from Sweden over 100 years ago.
So you've been farming, your family's been farming for over 100 years?
I am the 4th generation.
So is this just a natural, do you enjoy farming, or is
yeah, it's in my blood, it's what I do, I guess. It's a family legacy I have to continue.
And when you get news that like the farm industry, like the GMOs and everything, how does that really make you feel?
It makes me feel like everyone's kind of ignorant on the topic, and that we need to prove what we do even more. And so not only do I have to farm, I also have to tell people what I do.
And is this why we're doing this project? In your perspective, why are you doing this project?
I just want to open everyone's eyes on what we really do and make it unbiased, bring you in here so you can see from an unbiased standpoint how we do what we do.
Okay, let's do it.
All the crops and I do all the cattle.
So this is the farm. Is this your grandparents' house?
Yep.
That's a very nice house. Should we go?
Big old farmhouse. There's our nicest tractor. You're looking at $250,000.
$250,000 for a tractor?
Yes.
Wow.
And we're all natural cattle.
All natural? What makes them all natural?
You don't feed them any antibiotics, and you don't give them any antibiotics, and they no antibiotics and no hormones. You can't implant them like the other cattle. You put hormones in their ears, and it makes them grow. It gives hormones to them, and it's like steroids, kind of. Makes you be able to grow more fast and more efficiently.
So those are the naturals. They probably take a little bit longer.
They just don't. Yeah, they do, and they cost the consumer more money. So I mean, it's no different for a producer like me to feed all natural versus conventional. It's actually less work.
Okay, so
because I don't have to put an implant in there. These are more all naturals, but the only difference is the price of the beef. It's more expensive because it's not as efficient to grow.
But it's better-ish, or?
Some people think hormones are bad for you. Data proves that they're not really, but something like that. There's the ethanol plant byproduct.
Okay, and this is the corn?
Yeah, it's corn that goes, and they take like 17% of it out and make ethanol out of it, and that's what's left. It's a great animal feed for pigs and cattle, and it's produced the ethanol too, so it's the corn doubling pretty much its usefulness.
So this is where all, our corn and everything feed, and also, oh, that's awesome.
This is malt byproduct, like when you make malt, this is the hulls or whatever, the seed in it. This is silage. That's like when you take the whole corn plant and grind it up.
Okay, so this is just the entire corn plant.
Yes. This is the corn, like what's left over in the bean fields and the corn fields. It's the residue, the stuff it wants, and then grass mixed into it too.
Okay. And that is corn?
This is cracked corn.
Just cracked corn.
Regular old cracked corn. And the bins is the mineral. protein info on that bin, but we don't show you what the meat actually looks like here.
And these ones are all natural fed?
Yep. So when the feed gets mixed together, it makes this nice little delicious.
Don't do that.
Good.
You could, but that's just... And these are...
Natural cattle are no hormones, no antibiotics.
And the only difference that you say is that they just cost more because they're natural and they don't have hormones.
They're less efficient.
Okay.
They take longer to grow.
Do you give them names or?
No, there's 1,500 of them out here. I'm not gonna name every one of them.
Well, no, I just wanted to make sure.
My cows are named. Some of them.
Oh, right on. And these are dudes, right? These are
These are
male cows?
steers.
Okay.
They've been castrated. Otherwise, the meat would get tough. Their meat would be no good, and they'd be very aggressive.
Okay, why would their meat be tough? Is because of the hormones?
There'd be so much more hormones in them. Testosterone, I guess. Would be the
Yeah.
word I was looking for, not hormones. They have more testosterone. And they'd just be big and muscular instead of nicely marbled,
Oh, okay.
like they are.
Alrighty.
Like, you know, when you buy a good juicy steak,
Yeah.
Hy-Vee,
Yeah.
if it was a bull, it would be tough and
Chewy.
chewy and not good.
And so you want them soft and...
You want them tender and good, well marbled.
Okay. And what does marbled mean?
It's the intramuscular fat
Okay.
distributed through the muscle.
Alrighty.
That's what gives the steak a flavor and the texture
Right on.
of a good steak. These are my calves out of my cows,
Uh-huh.
raised from birth.
Raised from birth. These also do not have names, right?
I mean, you can name whatever. Call that one steak, call that one roast. And that one sirloin, New York strip, you know, whatever you want to name.
Filet mignon.
Filet mignon. Bye, calvies. Alright, fine, I'll act like I'm gonna feed you. Good luck, feed. Good luck, feed. Let's give him a second, okay? What am I gonna, oh.
All natural cattle.
Are you filming?
Yeah.
On our farm, over half of our cattle are all natural. All natural mean they don't have any hormones or implants. Being all natural makes them a little less efficient, so therefore it costs the consumer a little bit more to get to their plate. But it is just as easy to raise conventional and all natural cattle.
So like this, just out of curiosity, then do they, so compared to like something that's fed with hormones and stuff like that, there's not much of a difference?
You'll never know as far as the meat quality. It's just whether you believe hormones are harmful or antibiotics are harmful. Really, there's really not a problem with antibiotics because the withdrawal times, you know, I would never treat a calf that was going to go to market within the withdrawal times. These drug manufacturers have very specific times that you can not give the shots before they're slaughtered.
So what's the withdrawal time?
It's the time that you have to have a certain amount of time pass before you can sell those animals for slaughter.
Okay. Are they going to be upset with you?
Later. They might be mad at me till I later, but they'll be tickled.
How many do you have here?
Over 50 right here.
Oh my goodness.
Right at 50 probably.
Is there any like reason, I've always had this curiosity with cattle, is the color, does the color have to do with anything, or they're just, it's whatever?
It's just the breed.
Okay.
It's genetics. Black cattle sell better in the sale barn because they represent a better breed.
Than like brown or white?
Yeah.
Okay, so I learned something new
Typically,
every
you know
day.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's judgmental and
So you're telling me you do all the cattle here then? Yeah.
The cattle and pigs are mine.
The cattle and pigs are yours?
And my dad and grandpa farm.
Your dad and grandpa, okay. But they still use like the manure and stuff?
Yeah, they get all the manure applied to their crop ground to fertilize the crops.
Great. So how long, so you said it took like 3 hours to get it done?
Takes me 3 hours to feed cattle in the morning, another hour to do hog chores.
So what does it take to do like your cattle chores? What do you do?
I just feed them with a feed wagon and a loader tractor and mix like 5 different feed stuffs.
Mm-hmm. What's
hay, corn silage, distillers, and soybean malt mix.
And what is your hog chores in?
There I just walk through the barn and look, make sure they got feed and water and check the pig health. And
how do you check the pig health?
If they're sick, you give them a shot.
How do you know they're sick?
They look lame. You can tell in their eyes. When they're good, you can tell in their eyes, and they'll be droopy in the face. Their ears will droop. They won't be energetic.
Pigs are energetic?
When they're healthy.
Okay.
They're very energetic. I'll show you in detail when we get to the hog barn.
Alright. You wouldn't have an extra pair of boots, do you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I got coveralls there too if you don't want to get your
That would be very nice.
In biosecurity reasons, but I don't think you've been in contact with any hogs in a long time. So.
I have not.
So you're probably okay as far as that goes.
And so this is burgers from cattle you have, right?
Yes, these are from our feedlot behind me. Probably have hormones in them, and you're probably going to be okay.
Okay, we're going to be okay?
Yeah, you're going to be okay.
Alright. I trust you. Fair enough.
But there shouldn't be any antibiotics in the meat because we follow a withdrawal period. So if you give a shot, an antibiotic, you got to have, like, for instance, Baytril's, I think 21 days, or Baytril's 14 days before a slaughter withdrawal before you can take it to get killed.
Okay, so that was my another question I had. Like, you don't, when you give something an antibiotic, you don't automatically kill it. You have to, like, wait.
You have to wait. FDA or whoever does it make sure has strict protocols on how long you can slaughter an animal after it's been treated with an antibiotic.
Alrighty.
These are the computers. This is the main part of the hog barn. It controls all your ventilation. Without ventilation, things could go really bad.
Like how bad?
Like they get all gassed.
Oh.
From their manure.
From the methane.
Yeah, the methane would let everything off. But we have a backup generator here. I've never seen a barn gas before. With all the precautionary measures we take. So there's you know, you got 5 fans, the heaters, and the exhaust fans are all right here. And the main thing you gotta know how to run a hog barn is how to run one of these. And then over here is an alarm system. So if something ever goes wrong on there, it sends out a call.
It's like OnStar, but for your hog barn.
Correct.
Alright.
It'll call me, it'll call the barn owner, and it'll kick on the generator if it needs to.
Alright. Yeah, it does. Where are we at right now?
We are in my modern day hog barn with 2,500 head of pigs. The pigs are provided access to food at all times and clean water. Divided into many pens so they don't fight with each other as much.
Is there a certain way they're divided?
No, some barns will sex the males and females, but these are a mixed group. They're both males and races. Okay. No, they just in smaller pens, otherwise they tend to fight more.
What do they have for food?
They have mainly corn, ground corn and soybean mixture, and then some byproduct from the ethanol plant.
Is this from, are these from your farm or just all?
No, this is a commercial feed out of a feed mill.
Okay. So, these are just, pork isn't used for anything besides food, right?
These are going to be used for food. I mean, you can use pigs for medical reasons too.
Oh yeah. Dissection, parts, and all that.
Well, no, actually, their skin.
Oh.
Their plates, like, it's got something wrong. I don't know the exact science.
So do you use any of their excrements for like manure here or no?
Yeah, well, everything falls into a pit under me, and twice a year gets pumped out of the field. It's a very good source of nutrients for the crop.
So notice those ones over there have like blue less numbering on there.
It's just an identification, like right here. Okay. On their ears. It's just a tattoo that tells where they came from.
Okay. So how many pigs do you say out here?
2,500 in this one.
Just in this one?
This half, like what we can see here, is 1,200.
Okay.
1,250 somewhere around.
So it's like split half.
Yeah.
And so when are they old enough to go?
It'll be another 2.5 months to dissolve before these are 280 pounds about and they'll be slaughtered.
Okay. So these aren't the kind of pigs that I see in like the county fair competitions that are bred super huge.
No, they wouldn't be the big ones. They're the smaller ones.
And a while back you were telling me the meat's changed on it. It's not as fatty, it's more
It's
lean.
way leaner nowadays.
Like what do you mean by that?
There's less fat in it's a healthier meat. There's less fat in the meat. It's the other white meat.
It's the new, okay, so.
It's like, it's good for you. Like it used to be just real fatty. Real bad for you, but
Now it's good for you?
Now it's pretty healthy.
Much with these, like, I know in the cattle you have to like legitimately scoop the feed and everything like this.
No, they're all automated. All feed motors drop the feed down and I don't have to do much except for make sure they're in good health, check everything. A lot of mechanical stuff and a lot of health stuff.
So
I'm a nurse and a mechanic in here.
Nurse and mechanic? What do you mean by nurse?
Well, if I see a sick one, I give it a shot. Keep it separate and heal it back to perfect health.
And the mechanic, how often do you come into the hunt?
I check it twice a day, make sure everything's working right, make sure all the things are healthy.
Day and night?
Day and night, day and night. It doesn't take too long unless there's a problem.
So how old do you get the pigs?
They are, if it was an isolene barn, it'd be 21 days, but these went to a nursery first. So after they're born, it's a couple months before I get them.
Couple months. And how old are these roughly?
These are roughly just over 2 months of age.
So you get them and then they go at like 6 months, half a year?
Yeah, it usually takes about 5 to 6 months.
So most of our
waiting.
So most of our pork products are like 6 months old.
Somewhere around there. Maybe close to 7 months by the time they're born and after they're born.
So it's different than cattle where cattle you have to wait a year.
They take longer to grow, but cattle yield a lot bigger carcass. These are smaller.
Yeah.
By far.
How long have you been doing this?
Hogs?
Yeah.
Since I was 16.
Okay. And how long were you doing cattle?
Since I was born? I don't know.
Okay.
It's kind of a life deal on the cattle, but I didn't get into hogs until I was in high school and needed some easy money. Yeah.
So this was more like, but it started to interest you?
No, it's really just good money.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I love animals.
You love animals?
Yeah. Farmers are often scrutinized for being cruel to their animals, but in reality, farmers are the best animal lovers around.
Alrighty.
From a food safety standpoint here, really.
Okay. So there are still soybeans in here.
Yeah, I got really wet, so we had to replant them late.
Uh-huh.
So they're not ready to combine yet.
Okay. And what are soybeans used for again?
Biodiesel, animal feeds. They can make actually just hundreds and thousands of household products out of soybeans.
I remember the Clay County Fair had soy crayons. It's really weird.
They can make crayons, they can make just tons of stuff out of soybeans. Anyways, these are soybeans. They've been sprayed with herbicides, insecticides, and fungicides. And they're perfectly edible right out of the pod.
It's good. There's a lot of protein in that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Soybeans are very high in protein.
Oh, I'm waiting. Well, yeah.
We're back.
Okay. Okay.
Non-commercial fertilizers.
On that car?
Potash and DAP, so phosphorus and potassium.
Oh, right on. So all that bees and fertilizer by like those kind of.
You really have two options: you either put manure on it or you put those commercial fertilizers like that on it.
So what's better?
Depends on what you got. There isn't enough manure to do it all.
Okay, so
if you don't have access to manure, manure is better because it has more nutrients. It has the micronutrients that that wouldn't have. But no matter what, you got to put in nitrogen in the spring.
Oh, yeah, right.
So some way, shape, or form, you got to add nitrogen to either one.
Okay.
Of every field, so you know how much you got, and then they'll add precisely what the crop needs for the next year.
So they take a soil sample and they make sure to look at it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can map it. They can do a lot of stuff with technology now.
So you think technology is a good thing for when it comes to farming?
Oh yeah. They have different things like variable rate planting. You can decide how many plants you want to plant on every acre depending on soil types. You can fertilize based on soil types. And when you combine, you get yield data so you know what works and what doesn't. Your combine will map every yield you get for every point on the map you are. So every spot you're combining, then you're taking yield data off.
Fair enough.
It's really amazing what we can know now.
Yeah, that's insane.
Modern farmers also use other techniques to reduce their impact on the environment, such as reduced tillage and no-till. Below me is a cover crop trial in my cornfield of tillage radishes and annual ryegrass. This cover crop will increase organic matter and provide nitrates for next year's crop.
Okay, and so that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And how many acres is your farm with corn?
My farm is 160 acres.
Okay.
It's quarter section. That's the most typically they come in 160 acres or half of 160 or a quarter of 160.
And
if you want a radish, these are edible too.
Okay. Mind if I ask? So the corn that you have is it genetically altered?
Yes.
What defines genetically altered?
It's bred to resist things like this. These are bred to kill certain insects, like rootworm.
Yep.
It's toxic to rootworm.
Okay.
And it's tolerant of herbicides.
Okay. So now.
Genetically modified corn, like we see here, helps to increase farmers' yields. It makes the corn toxic to certain insects and increases tolerance of herbicides.
So if it's toxic towards insects, I know a lot of people, especially on the internet, say, what is it? Is it toxic towards humans?
I don't know. I'd feed it to my kids. Behind me is my dad and uncle harvesting 160 acres of corn.
Where does this all go?
We'll bring it about 7 miles to the local elevator, and from there they'll distribute it to animal feed and make it into ethanol, or send it on the rail to the Mississippi so it can get exported to other countries.
So besides like ethanol, what else is corn used besides ethanol and like regular corn?
Well, that's a different type of corn. That's sweet corn. Field corn is made into animal feed. That's really the main thing.
What's the difference between regular corn? What's the difference between regular corn and sweet corn?
Sweet corn is like sweet corn and sweet corn. up and used for various food products and animal feed.
So what is cornstarch then?
That's a byproduct. They'll suck the starch or whatever out of the corn and make cornstarch out of it.
Okay, so
this can be made into that.
So another question here. This is all genetically modified.
Correct. In one way or another to provide traits against certain herbicides that would kill weeds or resistance against pests like insects like the corn rootworm beetle. It'll resist the barrowing of that corn rootworm beetle, preventing catastrophic losses to a crop and making it better able to feed the world.
Okay, so that's how what do you think about GMOs?
I think they're the only way to provide the world with feed.
You say provide the world. How does your corn impact the world?
Without being tolerant of herbicides and certain insects, the yield would be way less, and we wouldn't be able to provide the world with as much corn, as much food as we do currently.
This corn will be shipped overseas too?
Possibly. Once we haul it to the elevator, it's kind of out of our hands.
Okay, so wherever it goes.
Wherever it goes, yeah. Cool.
This is the creek you were talking about? Oh wow, look at it. So this is like during the rainy seasons and stuff like that. It picks up all the loose runway and everything like that.
Yeah, all the nutrients that are run off the field go here, and then it uses cattails to like the vegetation under it. Naturally absorb that and just use it to grow the vegetation.
Okay, so all those, like the runoff of like the things are
runoff of all the fields up that way.
Over here?
Yeah. Drains into here, and the just kind of slows it up, and that's nitrates and phosphates mainly.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, what is this?
Tile. You can see that's the level of the dam. You can pull these blocks out.
Yeah.
And then it controls tile inlet somewhere, and that's the it'll dump out there.
Yeah.
However high or low you want this thing. So like when they were trying to get the vegetation started.
Yeah.
Yeah, really low for the first couple of years.
Yeah. So this is a concrete dam, right? How big is your creek?
Not really a creek. The creek
Well,
is,
your pond.
I don't know, a couple acres.
All right.
Farmers are some of the best conservationists out there. Behind me is a farm that is 160 acres. 80 of this is enrolled in a conservation reserve program or wetland reserve program. We have partnered with the NRCS to build a dam on our property. This dam naturally filters out phosphates and nitrates from